All right, joined by Jordan Love as we're just a few days away from the NFL draft. And Jordan, I guess we got to ask you, what's this? I mean, we're living in a whole new world here with this, with COVID-19. It's a weird time for you to be going in the NFL draft. We're doing this over Zoom. I'm sure you've had a few of these with some NFL GMs and coaches over the last few weeks. What's life been like for you?
Yeah, it's been been a lot of Zoom interviews and FaceTimes and phone calls. So, it's been a little bit different than what I was expecting, after the combine with meeting with teams and going on visits and doing workouts and whatnot. But, it's just what we got to roll with right now. There's things going on in the world, and, it's just an adjustment. So it's been pretty good, though. So.
Let's talk a little bit about what what the combine experience was like for you. I mean, you performed well, and it seemed like all things went really well. At least you were able to get that in. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was a great time at the combine. It was everything I thought it would be. Had some good interviews and whatnot with coaches and GMs, and then the last day finally getting to get out there on the field and perform. It was everything I wanted it to be, and I felt like I did what I needed to do and was able to perform well and throw the ball well and test good in the testing. So, but that helped me out a lot. With everything getting shut down. It sucks for other dudes that didn't get to do pro day, but for me, I at least got to go to the combine and get that out of the way.
I mean, you've dealt with pressure situations, but that's a different kind of pressure. This is a pressure not about winning a game, but creating a job interview for you. I mean, did you approach it kind of the same way as you'd approach a game?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just try and be as relaxed and cool as I can be. And the interviews are tough. You're sitting in a room filled with scouts, coaches, and GMs, and you're just sitting there getting asked a bunch of questions, and I just try and be myself and just show them who I am, and try and be as cool as I can be.
Jordan Love, kind enough to join us as you get set for the NFL draft. What's it been like as a guy that's expected to go relatively high in the NFL draft? What's the conversation been like with the NFL? I know you're one of the, I want to say 55, 56 players that they're going to want a camera on. What's that been like trying to arrange that?
Yeah, so they set it up. They sent us some cameras and some like a tripod and some iPhones to film just at my house, and it's good, getting that stuff set up and whatnot. But it'd be obviously a lot different than what it would be, being at the draft in Vegas this year. So it'll be interesting to see, how everybody else can figure out the technology and whatnot. But yeah.
If they would have, if let's just imagine a world without the virus, and if they would have said, Jordan, we want you to come to Vegas, would you have gone?
Oh yeah, I would have been there.
Nice. So let's talk about the whole workouts, and I mean, obviously, no pro day. You haven't been able to travel to teams. So what have you been able to do to try to impress? Has it just been conversations over Zoom and things like that?
Yeah, so for the Zoom calls, it's just been, you get on there, whether you're with, the head coach, the quarterback coach, OC, just get on there. They'll just get a little interview in, and then, they'll try to install some plays, teach you some of their plays, and try and see how much you can remember and if you can, like, draw those plays back to them and teach them to them. And, they can pull up film on there, watch film with you. Watch my film, their film. So, it's obviously it's different than being, face to face, being there in the building with them. But it's still pretty cool how you can do that on Zoom.
There's always conversations about spread offenses and can they translate to the NFL from a scheme standpoint. Do you feel comfortable making that jump and doing what some of these NFL coaches may be asking you to do?
Oh yeah, I feel super comfortable. I've been learning a lot through this time, and it's just what I tell them is, it's just something that I wasn't, had the opportunity to be a part of, just because that's what we ran at Utah State. But I felt like at the Senior Bowl, I got a good chance to show them that, I could learn, a slim part of an NFL offense in that week, but I could learn it and, master it right there.
One thing I always think is interesting that a lot of people don't understand is the process of hiring an agent. What was that like? Because I'm sure you had guys getting in your ear probably, 2 years ago almost.
Oh yeah, that process is pretty hectic. Yeah, I mean they start when you're first time your name gets brought up, in like the NFL conversation, they'll start hitting you up. But that's a super hectic process just because you got a bunch of different agents hitting you up that you've never really talked to or don't even know. So that's a pretty hectic process that you just like. It's different for everybody. I would assume. So you just got to handle it how you can.
When did you feel like things really started clicking for you?
For me, in terms of football,
Yeah, at Utah State.
at Utah State, I'd say the first game, my UNLV game, my freshman year, um, really just getting that opportunity to get in the game finally, and you know, get that start under my belt. That's when I feel like it started clicking for me. Just because before that, I had got some opportunities to get in the game, um, get a couple of reps in, but I wasn't, getting any starting reps like that and getting the full game. So I think that's when it started really clicking.
Because you go back to that 2017 season, you had been getting the first series in the second quarter
Mhm.
for the first half of that season, and we're showing some, obviously, a lot of success in that limited time. What was it like when Matt Wells and that staff came to you and said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to give you the reins and let's see what you can do."
Yeah, for me, that was a huge day for me. Finally getting that opportunity. And for me, I just had to go out there and capitalize on it and, make the most of it, and not mess it up and lose it.
It's funny. They actually there was a re-airing, I think on CBS Sports Network or some channel. They showed that UNLV game just a week or so ago, and I went back and I watched, and I'd forgotten. I mean, UNLV jumped on you guys pretty early. I mean, you were down 21-7, 28-14, and then rallied and ended up winning that game going away. But well, boy, they let you sling it right out of the gate. I mean, you were letting it fly pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I was trying to, like I said, I had to make the most of the opportunity. Just trying to go out there and showcase myself. And at that time it was like we got to win this game. I got to put my bag right here, and we got to go make some plays. So that's what we went out there and did.
Jordan Love, kind enough to join us as we get you ready for the NFL draft. What's been the message from some of these NFL teams and their conversations with you? I'm sure you've talked to pretty much most teams across the league, have you not?
Yeah, I've talked to a good amount. At the Senior Bowl combine, I got a lot of teams in. So, but the questions for me, it's a lot. A lot of background questions, trying to figure out who I am, and then a lot just football questions, trying to figure out what kind of player I am, how I learn. Obviously why the season. Why I had so many interceptions this last season. Just trying to figure out any question they could find on me.
I do know they like to nitpick. So, what is your response when they do talk about the interceptions from last year?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I just let them know that I was trying to do a little bit too much out there, trying to force a lot of balls into some tight windows that I probably shouldn't have been throwing. Could just check down and whatnot. But I was just trying to force the ball a little bit too much and relied on my arm a little bit too much to be able to try and fit those balls in some tight windows when I didn't need to.
I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you have any preferences on where you go, or do you just like, hey, just give me a shot anywhere in the league?
Man, of course I want that shot anywhere. It doesn't matter, but it'd be nice to be in California. That'd be like the dream come true. Crazy playing in your home state. So, but like I said, I'll go anywhere. The NFL is the NFL.
And again, you don't have to give me specifics, but do you have a vibe of a few teams, and you don't have to name them, but do you get a feel like there are two or three teams out there that may be honing in on you a bit?
I mean, I got a feel of kind of what teams need a quarterback and what teams have talked to me. But at the end of the day, I have no idea what just because interviewing with all these different teams, you just kind of just get the feel of you don't really know what team wants you. And I've asked questions, but at the end of the day, I really don't know.
What's your draft night going to look like? Are you going to have I know we got to be careful with the social distancing thing, but are you going to throw a little bit of a party, or how are you going to handle that?
Man, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be really the family over here. At the house watching the draft. That's all we can do right now. But I wish it was different. But for the most part, still be a fun night with family. So,
have you thought about the first major purchase?
I haven't. I mean, I know my first one's definitely gonna be a car. I don't know what car, but I'm gonna need to get me a car. So that'll probably be my first one. I haven't really thought too much into it yet. But yeah.
Do you ever go back and think, wow, like 3 years ago, I'm coming off a red shirt year and I don't know how good I'm going to be. I feel pretty confident. And now all of a sudden I'm I'm right here on the cusp of being a first round draft pick.
Oh yeah. I think about that all the time, how quickly things can change and, just how kind of how funny life is, just in football, you put that work in, and you'll get the most out of it. So, yeah, I think about that a lot.
Any expectations for year number one in the NFL?
Whew, I guess it really depends on where I go.
Yeah.
But for me, I definitely just want to establish myself and get up there and be able to showcase myself, show the team who I am. Be able to learn that playbook. That's going to be my first goal. Obviously, after I get drafted, I'm assuming they'll probably send us some stuff. So just
Yeah.
that'll be my first big goal, is trying to learn and master that playbook.
Well, Jordan, man, we appreciate it. We need to catch up with you after we find out where you're going, but congratulations on a great career here at Utah State. And we're all rooting for you, man. We're excited to see where you end up and can't wait to see you on the field on Sundays.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I appreciate it.